Hey, look who it is. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk PM, PFTPM. Coming up right here on Peacock after Brother from Another. Hey, man, it's good to be, in the lineup,
Yes, it is.
Behind us. We feel supported.
It's great to be with you guys. You guys have an awesome show. I've gotten to hear the end of it every day this week, and I'm going to catch up because all of our shows are available on demand on Peacock. We are all loyal to the Peacock brand, but it's a great streaming service, and anybody who's watching right now probably agrees with us or they wouldn't be watching.
Exactly. Well done. Well done. We appreciate it, man. Well, it's your first visit, so we feel like our first week is complete. We got the man, Mike Florio himself, on the show. So we're good now. We're official. We're officially on the team. Speaking of on the team, certain wide receiver that you don't want to see on his team, or at least you think it'd be smart, prudent of the Cleveland Browns to trade Odell Beckham. You've written about it. You've talked about it this week. After seeing him win last night, mostly on the run game, but do you still feel that way? Do they need to shake things up and trade Odell?
Yeah, this would be what the great Michael Scott calls a win-win-win. It would be good for the Browns, it would be good for Odell Beckham Jr., and it would be good for his ultimate destination, which I think would be the Patriots, a place where Beckham clearly would love to go. And they would, I think, get the most out of him in that offense with Cam Newton. They need some help on the outside. But as to the Browns, when you have so much money invested in all these different positions and you feel compelled to use the passing game, even though you have the best 1-2 punch currently in the NFL and maybe the best 1-2 punch we've seen in years at running back with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I think you just need to ride through that strength like they did last night. You don't really need Odell Beckham Jr. And the problem is when you win, everything's fine. When you don't win, Odell believes if he got the ball more, you would have won. And that creates a lot of unnecessary friction and tension. And I don't think he and Baker Mayfield ever clicked. And I just think that it's not a fit. And it would be a better fit in New England so you could get something for him. I mean, if Mohamed Sanu was a guy that the Patriots gave a second-round pick up for last year, what would they give up for Odell Beckham Jr. this year? And I just think it would make a ton of sense. And I think the Browns would be far better off short-term and long-term making that move.
All right, Mike, you mentioned one of the teams I want to ask you about. Sunday Night Football, you got Seahawks and Patriots, and I'm just more interested in the quarterbacks and how you see them both at different stages. Cam Newton in his first year with the Patriots, and Russell Wilson, a lot of people, including Bill Belichick, starting to give him some love, saying he's underrated. How do you see both of these quarterbacks going into Sunday's game?
Well, Russell Wilson has been underrated for so long, I forget when it started. This is a guy who's in year 9. He has won Super Bowl early in his career, and I think he wants to show that he's every bit as good as the best quarterbacks in the game. And I think he is. When you watch what he does, he's every bit as effective as Patrick Mahomes. It's just not as flashy. It doesn't get you on the edge of your seat. Patrick Mahomes is running around with his hair on fire, and it's exciting, the build-up to what he ultimately does. Wilson just does it, and it's like a cobra strike, and you don't realize what he did until it's over, and even then you don't appreciate what he's done. And I think that, I know that he wanted that offense to open things up earlier in the game, give him a chance to show what he can do, and look what happened. They rolled up 38 points last week. He was 31 for 35. So I'm fascinated to see how much that carries over into this game. And as to Cam Newton, I want to see how much he runs. I think Bill Belichick has tried intentionally to downplay the number of runs that Cam Newton had last week. He suggested it was all out of option looks. It wasn't. There were 7 designed runs, 6 that came out of the read option type of a play. I think we're going to see a lot of Cam Newton running on Sunday night against the Seahawks.
Is Chris Godwin playing, or is he out? Is doubtful out? What's his status for Tampa?
Doubtful. He took a big hit late in the game on Sunday against the Saints, and doubtful concussion protocol 2 days before the game. I have a feeling he's going to miss the game, but who knows? Yeah, there used to be, when a guy was in the concussion protocol, the default was he'd miss a game. And then at some point over the past 5 years, it became flipped. And it seems like a lot of guys, they get a concussion and they're back in a week. So I'm not going to rule out anything with Chris Godwin.
The reason I bring him up, though, was Brady. Obviously, big topic, struggled in the opener. Everybody talked about Arians, talking about him publicly. Now, potentially going into this next game without Chris Godwin. What do you expect game 2, week 2 from Tom Brady?
Well, you look at it this way. The Buccaneers drew the hardest game on their schedule at New Orleans right out of the gates. And then you could argue they drew the easiest game on their schedule at home against a rebuilding Panthers team week 2. So this is the week they have to show up. And, Brady, for the most part, was effective. There were 67 yards of passing that got racked up as pass interference penalties where Mike Evans drew a flag or the numbers would have been better. I want to see more growth from Rob Gronkowski. I tell you what, he caught a pass early in the game. It looked like he was running in mud. And Bruce Arians has been hyping up Gronk. He is not the guy that he was 5 years ago, at least not yet. Maybe he will be. They had him on the field 77% of the time, but he was mainly run blocking. But I think this is a game where Tom Brady needs to settle in, settle down, and just feast on that defense, score a lot of points, get everybody to forget about last week, and then they focus on moving forward. And I still think they can be really good. If they would lose this weekend, though, then it's time to press the panic button.
You know, Mike, a couple days ago, we were talking about Patrick Mahomes and his 25th birthday. We had a conversation about Mahomes and all the things he's accomplished by the age of 25. And you know the number. I'm sure you've talked about it many times on PFT. But our question was, hey, is he the best at 25 that we've seen? And could he be the best quarterback that we've ever seen? What do you think?
I think if he stays healthy, he'll end up being the best quarterback of all time. Now, the measuring stick, unfortunately, is going to be championships. And I think that's one of the reasons why, even though on the surface, $500 million contract sounds like a lot, it was structured in a way to help the Chiefs keep talent around him. And that's what they're chasing now. That's the standard, getting to 6. And you've got some guys on the team openly talking about getting 6 or 7. Let's go one at a time because they had to thread a pretty tough needle last year in multiple playoff games just to get their first one. But I think Mahomes has a shot to be regarded as the best ever. And what excites me about Mahomes, and I said this 2 years ago, when we first saw all of the things he does, he's inspiring a generation of kids to try to play quarterback the way he does. So in about 15 years, there's going to be a bunch of Patrick Mahomeses in the NFL, and the NFL is going to be better off for it.
All right, what's popping on PFT PM, Mike?
Well, what we're going to do today is get everybody ready for week 2. Yeah, we're going to talk to Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston about what to expect on Sunday night, go over all the injuries. We're going to do a feature. Since it's our first Friday, everything is brand new. We're going to do what we're looking forward to this weekend, and Shereen Williams and I are going to go back and forth on that. Then we're going to answer some questions to wrap up the day because that's the easiest way to create content. Just ask for questions, answer questions, and before you know it, the segment's filled.
Tell Curran we said what's up. Tell Curran we said what's up. We've both known him for a long time. Hey, thanks a lot,
Absolutely.
Mike. We appreciate it.
Good to have you, Mike. Appreciate it. Let's do it again next week.
Anytime, guys. Congratulations on the show, and you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.